Humphrey coming to you today from Miami, Florida, here with one of our great partners, Mr. Umberto Luongo,
Hello
and,
to
and
everyone.
obviously my
Appreciate
great
it.
partner in Atlanta, or in Charleston, I should say, the great Kimberly Odie. We're going to be running the ship today. We got a great program lined up. Sorry about a little bit of the confusion, but we did have a product provider that was a Nexus in North America, or nationwide, was going to be going over suitability and how that works with us. They're going to do that next week on this station on our own Zoom next week at the same time. So we will do that. We got a great program lined up for us today, but I'm going to turn it over to Kimberly, well, actually to Tim, and then from there, Kimberly will take over because I'll be here, but doing some things down here as well. So thank all of you for being here. Appreciate all of your help. Tim, we look forward to hearing from you, buddy. Take it away.
Hey guys, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Let me turn my video on. Can you see me good?
Um,
There we go.
yes.
Howdy, howdy. So yeah, let me give you kind of an update of what's going on there. I haven't talked in a couple of weeks, and there's been a lot of action going on in what I call the Hollywood stock market events. You know, you've got the tariff thing going on continuously with Trump and the negotiations. I find it intriguing to watch all the numbers, you know, how it migrates back and forth of what percentage. India now is a 50% tariff on all of their products, which, you know, we don't do a lot of trading with India because of a number of factors there. They our main trading partners obviously are Canada and Mexico, and then China, of course. But we're seeing, you know, I guess that there's some concern there of India buying a lot of oil from Russia, and Russia's oil revenue is what's really driving the war with Ukraine. And so this is what the negotiations all about with the Trump administration is they're trying to control or get Russia to, you know, stop the war, to settle it. It's been going on now for over 4 years, and it's got to a point where, you know, I think the current administration, like the previous one, is trying to settle this or jump in there and try to get both sides to back off and just quit killing each other. Kind of a good thing, I think. So anyway, as this all kind of develops, we're watching on the sidelines as all these different negotiations take place. But 50% tariffs, you know, is he's threatening, he's trying to get India to stop buying Russian oil, and if he can, also, you know, if you watch the price of oil, the lower oil goes, the more it hurts somebody like Russia, because that's really their true revenue in their country, that resource. And OPEC has been opening up the spigot. If you've watched some of my notes in my Tim Talks thing, is they're adding another 547,000 barrels per day. The OPEC countries have added into the distribution of oil now. So that's lowering the price of oil also. It's down, I think it's about mid 60s right now, right around 66. So that's obviously helping us also on the inflationary side. But at some point, no matter how low you go on oil, it's, you know, when you get oil below 60, a lot of it doesn't make any financial sense for these rigs to pump oil at some point, depending on what their cost is. So oil's got a base price there somewhere in the 50s where it has to stay above. That's kind of the way of our world right now. So the other thing I want to talk about is so the housing market, you know, with this last big jitter, you know, when we saw the market pop down here recently, we saw interest rates move down substantially. We saw mortgage rates go down. I commented about it lately. This is going to help the housing market a little bit. I think that 25 basis point indication that the Federal Reserve is going to drop interest rates coming up here in September is going to be a big factor. It's going to help the real estate market, which has been pretty much dead. You know, as I've talked about before, the circumstance here with the 10, 12 years of zero interest rates have caused a lot of problems with the real estate market, as it's created this huge base of mortgage holders out there with sub 3% mortgages, or right around 3% mortgages. And that's just bound up that whole market as far as inventory and kept prices high. And I think that's going to continue uh, here in the foreseeable future. The last thing I want to talk about is how the markets have really kind of crescendoed, have peaked here. We're at a point now where we're in the 16 years of a major bull market. And this is a feel sometimes you get, but I'm feeling like we're going sideways now. Earnings again have been good this season. So far, we've had a little over 80% of all the S&P 500 companies report, and earnings have been positive overall. There have been some companies that have been, poor reporters, but overall the market has reported very well. And I think that's an indication also that the expectations were a little bit lower in many cases, but what's driving it still is the artificial intelligence network of NVIDIA and all the tech companies, especially the Magnificent Seven. And really, if we look ahead in the crystal ball of what is going to reshape our country, and I think artificial intelligence, if you listen to all the soothsayers out there, they're really talking about reshaping how the job market is going to change here in the next couple years. They're saying by 2027, we're going to see a whole different pattern there of job loss, of reshaping the way the job market is going to position itself. Kids in college today are probably learning skills that won't be applicable in the future. If you think about artificial intelligence, where it is today at the basic level and where it's going here at the artificial general intelligence, and with quantitative or quantum computing, if it gets to that super intelligence, that ASI level, I think I've talked about the three different levels before. If it gets to ASI, that's a game changer. That's going to change everything, every industry. But the one industry that will always remain constant is what we are doing. And I'm telling you right now, it's so important for you to all understand the relevance of not only what you have, the opportunity which you have, but the HGI value proposition of what we're talking about with people. So we are a motivational marketing company. We're a builder company. We help people build businesses. We're a recruiting company, and that's what you should be out doing, because this market is now shaping up to be an opportunity as jobs start to diminish. I think we're going to see this go over the next year or two. We're going to see the job market start to slowly dissipate, and that's just going to give us, tremendous opportunities as we've really built up a product base, a service base, the full range of our ability to service middle America, which is really what our target is, and recruit the people that we sell to. I mean, that's the big picture here, Kimberly. That I'll turn it back over to you, but I'll take any questions anybody wants to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to chime in and ask. But I definitely think that it's going to be interesting, right, to watch the landscape and how things change, because it will change. It will change very, 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 very quickly. But I also think, and some of you guys were around during COVID, and not everybody was, I'm sure, around, but I mean, with us, and our event went virtual, and we had to have a virtual, Vegas conference basically. And it was amazing. It was great. But Hubert's message at that moment and our speaking topics were about windows of opportunity, right? Because when anything catastrophically changes, there is a window of opportunity at that moment to capture, right? And I think we'll see that with AI and with the changes that are coming. There will be windows of opportunity. So don't just look at it as negative. Look at it as, okay, all right, it's time to pivot. What are my options now? What does it look like? But I agree with Tim that as far as, and I think we mentioned this a few weeks ago because we met with one of Jody's friends who's very much into that world. And even he said, one of the very few jobs that will be safe are sales, right? And relationships and exactly what we do, because people are still going to want human interaction in areas where they have questions, and they want to say, hey Tim, what do you think, right? Not hey Chat GPT, what do you think? They might ask Chat GPT too, but they want that human interaction, that human connection. But I definitely think I have several friends in that energy world and data centers and AI and all that, and it's fascinating. But it's we're going to see some changes for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Do any of you guys have any questions for Tim? If not, we will move forward. Well, Tim, thank you, as always. Thanks for joining us. And
I do have a question for
oh,
Tim.
sure.
Hey, Sonia.
Hey there, how are you? Wanted to speak to you in regards to the dollar. It looks like we're going up, and the S&P 500 looks like that we're just on a hill to fall down. But the dollar seems that it's grounding right around where it is now at about 96, 97 cents. But what do you see for the S&P going forward and the dollar?
Right now, I see the S&P kind of going sideways. I think we're kind of reached that point now where there's so many geopolitical factors. There's the tariff issue. We've got politics. We've got some, obviously AI is still pushing a lot of the markets. So we could see, companies like NVIDIA, and like I commented earlier about the Magnificent Seven, kind of pushing S&P a little bit. But
Hmm.
you get a feel, Sonia, that right now we're at that tipping point right now with
Yes.
markets. It could go either way, or it could continue to go sideways, is my opinion. As far as the dollar's weakness is actually a good thing for our trading ability in kind of in looking at the tariff situation. It actually helps our ability to trade internationally, have a weaker dollar, but
Hmm.
only to a point. I think
Right.
obviously the dollar is not threatened right now as a reserve currency on the world stage. I think we're going to remain there. There's no other currency out there that is secure enough to replace it at any time here in the near future.
Right.
So I think the dollar is secure at the moment, and it's going to be stable here for a while. I just see it kind of drifting sideways, a little up and down. Right now against the euro, I saw it was, I think, 115 recently.
Hmm.
And what was it, 136, 135 against the pound. So those
Right.
are the two measuring devices I really kind of watch a lot. But I think right now the dollar is pretty stable, and look to be that way. Might gain a little strength here over the rest of the year. As as interest rates come down, it may lose a little bit of appeal there on the national stage too. But that's kind of a quick overview.
Right. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Great question. Thank you. Thank you. And remember on Wednesdays, so you guys know I'm a big, big fan of like third grade level conversations. When you're talking to your clients, I really think for the majority of them, it is basic general information. When you do deep dives, they don't understand it. And if they don't understand it and they're confused, then they're not going to do anything, right? So the design for Wednesdays and all this other stuff that we bombard you with, because I think we do, with information on products and here's how to do this and here's how to do that. The design for that is for you to absorb it and for you to listen, but it shouldn't actually change your practice, right? Your practice is still connecting with people, just like we were talking about when AI, comes in and storms the scene. They still want to connect with people. So it's general conversations, truthful conversations, interactive conversations of talking to your clients, getting to know them and talking to them about their goals and dreams. if you have to have a deep dive conversation and you have to pull up spreadsheets and you have to talk about the stock market, there will be someone, if you're not capable, to come in and help you with that. But I will tell you, after 23 years in the industry, that is not the majority of clients. The majority of clients want to know that you care about them, and they want to trust you, and they want to know that you know what you're doing and you know what you're talking about, because they're relying on you to help them make the decisions for themselves. I said on our WhatsApp today, and when I sent this out, that I would like for today to be interactive. And I mean that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a couple of sample FNAs. FNA, for anybody that's new, is a financial needs analysis. And you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. We've got the paper financial needs analysis in the back office. I have a million of them sitting on my desk. It's basically 4 pages, but I still prefer to take a paper, not application, but conversation. So just a quick recap. If I'm talking to you right now and going through your goals and your dreams and what you want to do, I don't want to be typing that into a computer, because I feel that is less personal, right? Than if I'm talking to you, I'm like, do you mind if I take some notes? And I'm just jotting down notes as we go forward. In between that first appointment and second appointment, I think is a perfect opportunity for you to input it into a computer and to pull all the data and, get your supporting documents and all of that with our calculators. But I think that first appointment, the goal for that first appointment is to gather data, but really to create a relationship. And I think we're going to do that through one-on-one interaction, talking about goals and dreams, things like that. So typically, the way I run my business, I think most of us probably, is it's at least a 2 appointment conversation, right? The first appointment is the conversation. We're just getting to know each other, and somebody's going to answer, right? My very first question that I ask every single time when I'm ready to engage in their actual conversation is what? Who wants to tell me?
If money is no issue, what would you be doing right now?
Kind of. Yes. Thank you, Ebony. Who's got the
If
exact
you
word?
had if you had a magic wand and you could wave it right now, what would your life look like?
Yes. Perfect. Gail, you want to say it too?
Yeah, I was just going to say the exact same thing. If I
Yeah.
could wave a magic wand and your life looked exactly as you wanted it to look, tell me what that would look like?
Because I want them. And sometimes, James is on here. I think he challenged me one time. He's like, I'm not asking anyone about waving a magic wand. And I was like,
Not
okay,
true.
whatever.
Not true.
Yes, you did. I promise you did. But anyway, I've had people say that to me in the past, right? And I think it's funny because I understand that it might sound cheesy. So if you're in a situation with these super uber professional rich people and you're talking to them, just say, I know this might sound cheesy. Just call it out, right? If you feel cheesy about it, I know this might sound cheesy, but I'm still going to ask you the same question I ask everyone, because I want to know what your goals and dreams are. So if I could wave a magic wand and tomorrow looks exactly like you want it to look like, what is that? And sometimes they just spit it out. Sometimes they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, if you won the lottery, it's kind of like a magic wand, right? You can do anything you want. What are you going to do? What does it look like? What are your goals and dreams? Because I want more than I want to get out of debt. I want more than just the general. That's everybody's goals and dreams. So assuming if you got a magic wand, you're out of debt, right? So we'll definitely write that down. But okay, now what? Right? What are we working for? What is our life goals? Are not to get out of debt, right? Our life goal is definitely not to be in debt, but we want more than that, right? So the goal for that conversation is really to create that relationship, and coming back on that second appointment and starting it with, on the last time we met, we talked about your goals and dreams, and these are the things that you said to me. When you read it back to them in their own words, you see the biggest smile come across their face, because it means that you listened, but it also reminds them of what are your goals and dreams, right? It reminds them of what they're looking for. So I've got a couple that I've removed names to protect the innocent. So hopefully I did it well because I did it very quickly when we pivoted today. But I just want to go over some financial strategies that we've put together. So who can, not someone from my team, because you better be able to do it, who can tell me the 6 areas that we work with people on their financial life? What are the 6 steps that we go through with every single client when we're looking at their information? Who can tell me? Step 1.
Increase your cash flow.
Exactly. Increase the
Increasing cash flow, increasing income.
reduce the debt.
Reduce debt. Hold on a second. Who's recording me?
Emergency fund.
Okay, Octavia, I'll let you record me. I was like, why are you recording me? We are live streaming to YouTube, by the way. Just FYI. So increase cash flow, control debt. Number 3 is an emergency fund. Number 4,
Proper protection.
proper protection, which is life insurance. It's also your health insurance, right? And step number 5,
Creating wealth.
creating wealth. And step number 6,
Legacy.
is legacy. It's preserving that wealth, right? So with every single client, regardless of where they are in their financial life, we're going to give them understanding of each of those areas. And to me, once we've taken this paper FNA, right? Like we've got this client, I've written, their information on the first page, and I'm just going to show it to you really quickly if I can get it. We've written their information on the first page, goals and dreams, and where they are. Then we've talked about their liabilities, and then we've talked about insurance and their income. Once I have all this information, I'm going to schedule a second appointment, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to put together my recommendations. If I'm new, you're going to have a field trainer that is walking you through this every single step of the way. So this is nothing that you're going to have to just go create. We have a system, and it's very duplicatable. And if it's duplicatable, then the way I do it, and the way Gail does it, and the way James does it, and the way Hugo does it, and the way Caesar does it is all the same. Right? And when we're building a recruiting and building business, we want it to be the same, right? So coming back on the second appointment, for me, it makes it much easier if I visualize those individual areas of their financial life. Cash flow, debt management, like how can I help them with cash flow? How can I help them with debt management? How is their emergency fund? Now let's look at their life insurance. And I just compartmentalize it. And to me, it's going to make it much simpler if you do it that way. So let me pull one of them up. These are all real live active clients from 3 different people, I think, which is actually pretty cool, I think, just to kind of show you what's happening on in this world. So let me zoom in here just so you can see. So birth date's 1972. They want to be financially free, own a 2-bedroom beach house at a beach in the South, super frugal, don't need much. They can invest $1,000 a month now, maybe more later when the kids are out of the house. So where are we financially? Currently, make about $50,000 a year, get $800 a month in bonuses, and then have pretty sizable alimony that's going to continue forever. So recommendations on cash flow from me are always the same, right? My goal in this section, you've heard Mauricio talk about that too, is I want them to come to work with me. I believe that our business is a great opportunity for everyone, regardless of if they want to do it for, like Biaki money, right? Or if they just want to replace Uber money, doesn't really matter to me. I think we have a great opportunity. So I teach them that in this area. And I say, listen, I don't care if you go start a lawn care business or you flip things on eBay or you have an Etsy store. I personally think you should come to work with me, but regardless of what you do, multiple streams of income are always key. Right? Always consider alternative income streams to add income to your current lifestyle, give you more income and more diversification. And these are some just generic recommendations that I always leave on here because when you deliver value, people appreciate you more, right? Some of it is going to be common sense, but a lot of it is just telling them something that they're like, oh my God, I knew that. I know you knew that, but I'm just going to tell you again, right? But a lot of times if they know it, they're like, why am I not doing it? Because I do know it. And it's just another voice saying that. So use a budgeting app like Quicken, Pocket Guard, YNAB to track your spending. I don't want you to be obsessive with your spending. I just want you to look at this pie chart once a month and go, I spent a little too much on Amazon last month. Maybe I should fix that, right? And just have a general idea of where your money is going. And there's so many times that we meet with clients that can't afford to put $1,000 a month away, right? When I ask them how much they can afford to set aside, they say nothing. So then we have to go back and we have to look at this 50-30-20 plan, right? Consider using that 50-30-20 plan to budget for your needs, your wants, and your savings. If you can't put at least 20% of your income away towards investments into savings, emergency funds, whatever, then you got to make more money or spend less money. And the reality is none of us can probably spend less money or consider like enough less money to actually matter. So just have a clear idea of how much you can save and spend on a monthly basis. But in this increasing cash flow section, that's not really a money making, like when we think about where we make money as HGI, what are we only make money when we help people financially, right? So when we're going through these FNAs, what are the two things that we look for that we can help them with? Anybody remember?
Monthly money and lump sum money.
Monthly money and lump sums, right? That's all we're looking for is there monthly money here that I can either invest or redirect, or are there lump sums that I can do something better with that's not happening for them? That's all we're looking for, monthly money and lump sums. So an increasing cash flow, that's not really a money-making box for us. We're not really going to make money giving that advice other than if they come to work with us, right? And then if they do, then that's a money-making opportunity. But it is giving them education and delivering value. And I'm going to probably on the next couple, maybe I'll stop it and have you give me your recommendations. But on the mortgage, they owe $600,000, is valued about $900,000, payments $3,000, pays half of it because they've got a divorce. When kids graduate, they're going to sell the house and split the equity. We've got the HELOC, and then we've got a car on there that's going to be paid off ASAP. So recommendations here, there aren't any, right? There is zero debt. Like it's a great situation. Other than your mortgage, you have zero debt. That's huge. But I'm still going to give the education of if you ever carry balances on your cards, on your credit cards, only overpay one card at a time. I see so many people that have 5 credit cards. I had one client, I would have pulled it up, but I don't have an input in this situation here. But I asked them the other day, you know, what's your minimum and what are you actually paying on your credit cards? And she doubles her minimum payment on every single credit card every single month, right? She doubles it. Okay, well, what if instead of doubling all those payments individually, we just took all that money and put it to one? It'd go away so much faster, right? And then we can roll that to the next one and it'll go away so much faster. And this is where Mauricio's calculators with the debt repayment plan, right? It'll script it out for them. Pay this one, then this one, then this one. It's going to be amazing. I also teach them to put all of their credit reporting liabilities on auto pay, but only for the minimum payment, because there's so many times where, you know, if somebody's pulled their credit or whatever, their credit has been dinged because they forgot a $25 a month payment, or they had an annual fee on a credit card that they don't ever use, so they forgot about it, and then it's a 30-day late, and now they've screwed up their credit, right? Now we got to wait a year and in this rebuilding phase. So if we put it on the auto pay for the minimum payment, even if my balance is zero, it's calculated. So next month, if I get that $40 annual fee or whatever, it's going to just pay it for me. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it. If I'm in the hospital, right? If I have a car wreck, if I'm on vacation, if my computer crashes, if the dog ate the mail, whatever, I know that the minimum payments on every credit reporting liability is taken care of. That's a huge just mind relief that you don't have to worry about it anymore. And then I tell people all the time to review your bank and credit card statements at least every 6 months at minimum to check for auto pays or recurring drafts that need to be canceled. I see so many times, even personally, right? Like going through this, I saw the other day, I was like, what is this $15 charge on my credit card and why do I keep having it? And then I was like, oh, it takes you 3 hours to get to the bottom of it, right? And it was Audible, a subscription through Amazon, that one of my kids had said, oh, I need a a book for school and it's free for 7 days. So I'll just do the subscription, not pay anything. And then, 6 months later, I've paid $70 for a book that costs $5.99, right? So you just double check everything and just make sure that you're on top of your money. If you guys have any questions about these as we go through, then you can stop me. But again, in this debt management section, that's not really a place where we're going to make money, right? This is not a money-making opportunity for us. It's really delivering value and education. I will tell you that a lot of times you see monthly money, which is something we're looking for in this section. If you ask them what your minimum payment is and what the actual payment is, you see the difference between those two. If my minimum payment's $50 and I pay $200, that gives me $150 of monthly money. I might leave it paying to my debt, but in my mind, I know that I have $150 extra that I could reallocate if something else made more sense. Okay? Stop me if you want to. All right, emergency fund, checking savings, got about $8,000 based on the income that is variable, which is obviously salaried income. They need about $12,500 to $25,000 in a liquid account for 3 to 6 months worth of income saved. So I just said, as you make extra money, split it between debt repayment. She doesn't really have any debt repayment here, and savings to put into your emergency fund. And then when you do that, consider putting your money in a high yield savings account for return. Again, I've not pitched a product. I've not tried to sell anything. I've done nothing. So I'm building this trust too, because I'm not just going in and saying, hey, we're going to move all your money right now. I'm still going to move all your money. I'm just going to do it in a minute, right? Does that make sense? All right. Step number 4 is proper protection. So that is something we can work with. This is something we can offer. Right now, there is 0 current life insurance. If I do the DIME, who can tell me what the DIME stands for?
Dead income.
Dead income.
Go
Say
ahead.
it together.
Debt, income, mortgage.
Debt, income, mortgage, and
Mortgage,
education.
Yes, awesome. I love all you guys shouting it out. And so basically that means I'm going to take my debt, and again, they don't have any debt. I'm going to take my income and multiply at least by 10 years. So if she makes $50,000 a year, that's times 10 is 500,000. My mortgage, which was 600,000, and kids' education, which is already taken care of. So she needs $1.1 million of life insurance to cover her debt, her income, her mortgage, and her education. So I just simply said, here are your 2 options. You can do $1 million 20-year term for $143 a month, or $1 million 30-year term for $271. Why would you want a 30-year term? I mean, why would you want to spend, $130 extra? Because, the difference between 75 and 85 is there's significant probability there that you're either going to use the death benefit or living benefits that are inside these policies. But in this situation, because kids are gone and, there's no spouse to support, you can argue the need for income replacement. Do I really need to replace my income? Technically, no, right? There's no one that would be at a loss if the income stopped coming in. So then what's the question? Then what's the conversation? Decide, do you want to leave anything to your kids? Like, is that important to you to leave them a lump sum? If so, great. What's that number? But also it's what about long-term care? So you guys have heard us talk about the AAS rider, which is Accelerated Access Solutions, I think. I think that's what it stands for, at Corebridge. And that basically means that you could take your death benefit and you could divide it out over, a certain period of time to help you with not just living benefits, right? So let's have this conversation here. Living benefits means if I have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, something like that, I can reach in and access a portion of, in this case, that $1.1 million to help me through that time. Depending on the severity of my diagnosis, depends on how much I get, but ultimately you get something, right? I tell people all the time also, I hope you waste your money. Like, I hope you never, ever, ever use any of these benefits, right? Because that means you're healthy and you lived, and that's my goal for you. But Also, like if we had, let's just say, I'll pull up my calculator really quick, which I know you guys can't see, but just to kind of give you an idea. If we had that accelerated access solution on a permanent life insurance policy, in this example, because we really don't need the income replacement, we've got a permanent policy, we've got living benefits and a death benefit, but we also have that AAS rider. I can pull up to, and it depends on how I underwrite it originally, but 4% of this policy as living benefit, as long-term care, basically. So I could pull $44,000. Is it a month, Gail? Is that 4% per month? I think it is. So I could pull $44,000 a month, which is ridiculous, right? I'm not going to need $44,000 a month to pay for my benefit. But I could pull up to that if that's what I put on my policy, right? So I could pull $528,000 a year to pay for my long-term care, or if it's going to cost me $10,000 a month, as long as that benefit says that it will pay it to me, it's going to pay it to me, which means that if I die, my family's taken care of. If I live and I have a heart attack, I've got money to help me through that time. But also if I need long-term care and something like that, I've got the money coming from my death benefit that will pay that for me. So regardless, I'm not wasting my money. I will get it back, whether I use it for myself or I pass it along to my heirs. That's a really, really big deal. So in this situation, it's not as cut and dry on how much life insurance do you actually need? We could argue that, right? And we could lose a sale here if we're like, well, you're right, you don't really actually need any life insurance. So I'm kind of talking you through all the reasons why she might need life insurance, right? The death benefit in this example is not the most important piece. It's the living benefits and potentially that AAS rider and that permanent policy. So I'm reading through, okay, thanks, Gail, for answering. I'm reading through, Daisy and Rolando asked for replacement of income. Do you always take the reference of 10 years? And Gail responded and said, as a rule of thumb, yes, unless you have younger children, then you'd want to do longer. And that's exactly right. So rule of thumb in the industry is 10 years. But I always say, if you've got young kids, if you've got a 2-year-old, you want to make sure they're through college before anything in their life significantly changes financially. Emotionally, you can't stop that. You can't fix that, right? But financially, you can. So what does that look like? Anybody have any other questions or conversations about this life insurance option?
I have a question.
Yeah.
If somebody has $1 million policy and God forbid they get cancer and they use, let's say 500,000 just for easy numbers, and then 2 years later they die, they would only get the other half, right? So the other 500,000.
They would only get whatever is left,
Whatever's left.
correct. And so the insurance company will send you, if something happens and you need to access your living benefits, the insurance company is going to send you basically your offer. You can have up to this amount, and this is how it affects your policy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And they would get the difference, but it's not, I mean, they would know that. They would say, oh, I'd rather have it for a death benefit, or I'm going to beat this thing and I'm going to spend this money to, cure my cancer, or I'm not going to beat this thing and I want to take a trip around the world while I feel healthy with my kids, like whatever, right? That when you qualify for that money, it is your money to do whatever you want to do with it. Same conversation on the AAS rider. Like a lot of times on the long-term care policies, you've got to submit receipts for reimbursement. Here, if you qualify for it, you get it,
Wow.
which is a big deal.
And this is probably a dumb question, but I'm so
No question's a dumb question from a little old school teacher over here.
Oh, awesome. So let's say that, I did want to leave my family $1 million, but unfortunately I already spent $500,000 because I got sick. Is there a way to get the other $500,000 so that I can still leave them $1 million when it's going to be harder to get insurance now, right?
If you needed living benefits, chances are you're not qualifying for another life insurance policy, right? You could take that money and put it in, like a lot of people, and you've heard some of these HGI stories. I know you guys are fairly new, but you'll hear them, right? Like a lot of people, if they qualify for that benefit, they take it, realize that they don't need to use it. So then they put it into an annuity to either pay out income for the rest of their life or to pass it to their beneficiaries. So you can do things like that. Or if you know, in this example, I want to give my kids $1 million, period. Zero variables, nothing else out there, that I am going to buy $1 million permanent policy, the cheapest guaranteed death benefit policy, not maybe it's an IUL, but it's not the builder IUL. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for cash value. I'm not looking for income. I'm going to buy a guaranteed death benefit policy. That means whether I die now or at age 100, my kids are getting that $1 million because that's my goal. But I'm also going to write another policy that covers the what if, right? The living benefit piece, the income coverage, all that kind of stuff. So I'll just have two, and I could do that on a term policy or whatever, if that kind of answers your question. So if you know people have an estate planning guaranteed, this is what I want my kids to have, regardless of anything else, just write two policies. As long as you qualify for the death benefit, then you can do that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions before we go forward? Okay, so I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to, let's pull up this whiteboard. We're going to talk about comp, right? So on this compensation, and we're going to type it. Remember, one of those policies, and let me just make it bigger. One of those policies was $143 a month, I think. So 143, $3 per month. I can't type and talk and Zoom and everything at the same time. Okay, stop. Just kidding. That's what I want. I want to make that bigger. I want this to go away. I need a Zoomer. I need a Vanna White, right? Was that her name? So the policy is $143 a month. So if I'm looking at commission, what does that mean I'm going to make? So I'm going to take $143 a month and I'm going to multiply that by 12 because we annualize commissions at HGI, right? So 143 times 12 is 1716. So total annual premium on this policy is 1716 on this particular piece, right? Some companies, it depends on the policy. It might pay less than 100%, but in this example, we're going to assume that entire 1716 goes to the grid. If I'm brand new and I'm out of my field training, what's my contract level?
Should be 45.
45, right? So if I'm 1716 and I'm making 45% of this income, what am I going to make on this policy?
772.
Thank you for helping me. 772. Can you do 60%? Whoever's doing my math for me, did y'all quit?
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, that would be 1,029.
1,029, right? And then at 78, what is that?
That would be 1,338.
So pretty great income. We're not even finished with our plan. Oh, just kidding. We're not even finished with our plan yet, but I'm sure, at beginning contract level or not, I'm making between $700 and almost $800 and $1,300 on this policy. If I need someone's help and I'm out of training, even if it's a split, it's more than I would have made on my own if I can't sell it without me. Does that make sense? So the income opportunity here is huge. But again, we're only through step 4. Step 4 is our proper protection, and we're doing what's right for the client and for their needs, right? So now let's look at everything else. How do I stop this whiteboard? Close whiteboard. So now let's finish looking at that. Anybody have any questions about that comp and how that works?
Yes, just one question, and I'm sorry.
It's okay. Don't say sorry.
So That would be just for the 1 year, right? The second year, you don't get anything else.
Yeah, life insurance might have, like, sometimes I get like a 20-cent deposit or a $2 deposit, like sometimes, but it's nothing to write home about. Correct. Like on life insurance, it's very heavy upfront, but it's not really residual. Residual income is like managed money is residual income, health insurance is residual income, Medicare is residual income. And those are the true, I think, residual income pieces. But obviously building a team is residual income too, because once I teach you everything I know and you're out there doing your business, you don't need me anymore. When you write business, I get paid.
Right.
That's residual as well. Any other questions? Okay. So next one, okay, it's building wealth. And this is the fun one, right? So we're going to talk about this. So retirement goal is $5,000 a month. Social Security income at age 67, and I think there are 52 maybe. At age 67 is $33.81 per month. Alimony, we're going to get $42.92 for life, which means that we know we've already reached her income goal without me, right? Like she doesn't need me to create her income because it's already been created. Makes sense? It's guaranteed forever. Or for life. So current 401k, don't really know how much is in there. New job, they're contributing 5%. They have a 5% employer match, but that match won't begin until May of 2026. When I'm looking at this, what am I looking for?
A gap.
Lump sum money.
Lump sums and monthly money, right? I'm looking for lump sums and monthly money. So if I'm looking at a 401k, she's putting 5% in that is not matched for a year. What is that? That's monthly money I can redirect, right? So I could take that 5% and put it somewhere different that might make more sense, right? I might not, but I could. So always be thinking of where your opportunities are to make recommendations and to redirect things. E-Trade account, 42,000, IRA with 250,000-ish, and then an IRA with 18,000. And those are the assets that we have to work with. So for the sake of time, because we only have 10 minutes left, let's look at our recommendations. Recommendation, I always have these on here. Confirm your Social Security estimate, right? So you know income and timing guaranteed for life based on Social Security information. And I always tell them, if you don't know, then go to ssa.gov and find it out. Create an account, figure it out, give me that number. Because if they need to make $5,000 a month and they're going to get $3,300 a month from Social Security, then I have less that I have to make up, right, to give them that retirement goal. And ultimately, I want them to retire as quickly as possible because that's their goal, right? So how can I help you get there as quickly as possible? Again, investing rule of thumb, free money, tax-free money, taxable money. Contribute up to the match on qualified accounts, but no more. So that 5%, we could redirect it for a year if we chose to. In a year, it needs to go back there. So I don't want to put it into an IUL because I won't have it in a year. Hear me when I say that, right? But we want to put it, we want to have it to be able to match it in next May because we want her to get the benefit of that 5%. So next option, what do we talk about? So remember, how much did she say she could set aside on a monthly basis? Do y'all remember?
1,000.
1,000. So up here, we're either writing a policy for 150 or 275, right? So I took 750, not the full 1,000. I said, what if we did with $750 a month? What would we do? What if we put it into an IUL, right? Out of the 1,000 that you can set aside, what does that look like? Based on the illustration that we provided at that moment, it's going to give an additional $14,000 a year of tax-free income from age 65 to 80, or we could redirect it to a Roth. When I had this conversation, I didn't have enough time to really do the compare and contrast between those two options. So I just wanted to throw it out there, and I said, hey, we'll continue this part of the conversation. But the income is not brilliant. It's not beautiful. It's not exciting, right? Why? Because they don't have a lot of time. So if we put it in for 10 years and we're already older, then we don't have time for that money to compound, then you're going to get something, but it's not going to be, you know, beautiful. It's just going to be something, but it might be enough. It might matter. But it would give her the permanent death benefit, right? It would give that permanent death benefit that we're looking for. James, go ahead.
Hey, Kimberly, real quick, the alimony, that 4292 is that per year or per month?
Month.
Got it.
It's on the other screen that says per month, but on here I see where the question is for sure.
And that would be through the life of the husband. If he
Correct.
dies,
If he dies, that money goes away.
Right.
Which is, you know, could be a hole. Right now, we hope he lives forever. I'm sure she does too, right? But yeah, so that will be a conversation that we continue to have. We're going to pretend for our example right now that she did the IUL. So let's look at, oh, I was like, where's my whiteboard? So let's look at comp on that really quick. And somebody be my calculator just for time's sake for me, please. So if they're putting $750 a month into this, come on, get bigger. If they're putting $750 a month into an IUL, what's 750 times 12?
9,000.
9,000. It's probably on an IUL, it's probably not dollar for dollar. So let's just say for quick numbers, we'll just say that it's going to be about 6,000 in compensation, okay, to the grid, because it depends, right, on cost of insurance, all this kind of stuff. I'll show you later on the bottom of your IUL application or illustrations where you can see the compensation. But let's just say it's $6,000. So if I'm writing a policy at 6,000 and I'm at the 45% contract level, what's my income?
2,700.
If I'm at the 60% contract level, what's my income?
3,600.
And if I'm at the 78% contract level, what's my income?
4,680.
Now, if I add my term policy to this, I think this was like 770, and this was like
1,029.
what was it?
1,029.
And this one was 13 something.
1338.
Okay, Kimberly, the 78 is 4680.
Okay.
4,680.
Thank
No,
you.
no, no. The IUL compensation.
Yeah, the IUL.
That's it.
There you
Okay. So again, I'm not finished with this client, and I don't know if this whiteboard will save. We'll see if it does. But now I am at a beginning contract level, 2,700 plus 770. I'm making $3,500 on this client, and we're still not done, right? So I'm making anywhere from 3,500 to 6,000 on those two things that I've shown this client, and I'm still not done with this plan, and we're still doing what's best for them, right? So let's close this and let's finish this out really quickly. So to pull this back up, at this point, we are retirement age, right? Within the next 5 to 10 years. And the only thing that I care about at retirement, or the first thing that I care about at retirement, is guaranteed income. I want to know that I can pay you the most amount of money guaranteed for the rest of your life, that there's zero variables, because I want you to live forever and I want you to spend it all, right? I don't care, but I want you to have income. So we're going to combine those two IRAs, which is a total of about $265,000, into Nationwide. You guys have heard about that before. It's an indexing product which will protect against loss and guarantee $29,652 a year per life starting at age 60. E-Trade, I'm going to leave it where it is or move it to WFS, which is obviously what we're doing, is moving to WFS. I just wanted them to know that they had an option, right? But they don't really. So proposed retirement income and assets is $4,200 a month in alimony, $3,300 a month in Social Security, $2,500 a month from Nationwide, and if we did the IUL, $1,500. So I've taken that $5,000 a month income goal and I've literally doubled it, right? A little over doubled it, given her that guaranteed income, but I've also left the current 401k, whatever is there before retirement will still be liquid, because liquid money matters too. Guaranteed money matters, but I can only put all that money in Nationwide if I've got another pool of money to pull from in an emergency, or if I want to, take a cruise around the world or whatever. Because when I put that money in Nationwide, in my mind, that money goes away, right? I can't use that money anymore. If I do, then it's going to affect my income, which defeats the purpose. I've got E-Trade account as liquid assets. I've got checking and savings as liquid assets. And I've also got that $300,000 in home equity that I will get when I sell my house next year in liquid assets. So we have plenty of guaranteed income. We have plenty of liquid assets. We've done everything that we're supposed to do for them, almost. Let's pull this up just really quickly. Oh, y'all can leave if you'd like to. Just kidding. I think I have it saved. Yeah. Okay. Somebody's don't draw on my board. All right. So this is our comp before, and now we're going to look at, let's see if I can do one more. Now we're going to look at the annuity. So if we say that the annuity is, what did I say, 265,000, just for quick numbers. And again, we'll have to verify this, but it's going to be close. I always do like 5.5%. So if I take that 265,000, if somebody wants to do that for me, multiply by 5.5%, what is that?
14,575.
14,575. So that's going to be the comp that goes to the grid. If I'm at 45%, what am I going to make at 45%?
6,558.
If I'm at 60%, what am I going to make at 60%?
Oops, had a mistake there. 8,745.
And at 78%, what am I going to make?
That would be 11,368.
All right, so I'm going to go back up here just again for time there. Up here, my beginning comp, I'm going to add this plus 658. I'm going to add, let's see if I can do it this way. Hold on.
We cannot see your screen.
I know, I'm trying. You can't see it at all? You can't see the whiteboard?
Just the whiteboard, nothing else.
You don't see the one I'm working on?
Yeah.
Let's try this again.
Well, we could see your screen, yeah.
You can see it, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we see the whiteboard and what you're typing as well.
Yeah, that's all you
Yeah.
should see.
So it's good. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, okay, well, that's what we're looking at. Okay, plus 8745 and then plus 11,368. All right, so somebody really quickly for me, can you add these together? 2,700 plus 770 plus 6,658.
10,128.
10,128. And then the next one is 3,600, 1029 plus 8745.
13,374.
And then the last one is, oh, sorry, 4,680, 1338, and 11,368.
That's 17,386.
So on this client, you've made between $10,000 and $17,000. I will tell you, this is a real live actual client. Step number 6 is preserving wealth. They don't have a will or a trust. We sent the net law link, so we've fixed that box too. So that's another $100, $200, whatever it actually is. But I will tell you, to make between $10,000 and $17,000 on this client, that has taken probably about 2 hours. And now we're at the point of saying, okay, perfect, that's amazing, let's take application, because it's exactly what she said. Is that worth your time? Of course it's worth your time. And this particular client came to me through a matchup because it's for a new teammate that they don't know how to do all of this. So they're going to make half of this. So do you still think that basically referring someone to learn how to put all of this together is worth $5,000? Absolutely. Right? So that's the power of our system. I know I went through a lot. I'm going to stop this share really quick, I think, or stop this whiteboard really quick. But that's amazing, right? Anybody have any questions for me about this?
Great presentation. That was good. I like that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? All right. Well, it is recorded on YouTube, so it's there. I have 1,000 of these. And anytime, if you want someone with experience to help you, it's going to be a split. But I promise you that splitting money and to get that experience and to get that education out there is so worth it, because my goal I don't want to do your business for you. I want you to do it. I just want to make the overrides, but I want you to do it correctly. And I want you to capitalize on every single piece of the opportunity that we have here. And I want you to help your clients on every single piece of the opportunity that we have here. So with that, any other questions?
Can I add real quick? Can I add to that real quick?
Yeah.
I think when you're new, as you come in, right, and you sit down with somebody, unfortunately, a lot of times, and just automatically, we're going to go to, oh, you need protection. Okay, great. Let's get you a term policy, right? So are you really losing on the split? Because like you just showed so many different scenarios, the different opportunities to make that money. So I think, being new and trying to do it yourself versus having somebody like yourself experience to be able to point out all of the places, the opportunities for them, I think you're actually going to do a lot better with having somebody experience split it and see exactly where they're going to each opportunity for that profit.
Accurate. Very well said. And ultimately, I can figure it all out because we have it all at our fingertips, but I don't want to figure it all out. I just want you to teach me, tell me, I will do exactly what you say, I will duplicate it, and then I don't need you anymore. And that time is so much more valuable than the hours I would have to spend pouring into it and the bumps and bruises along the way. So.
That was amazing, Kimberly. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. All right. Well, blowing kisses. Bye. It's after 1.
Thank you. Awesome presentation.
You're welcome. Enjoy your day. And next week we are having a Nexus suitability at this same call. So we'll post it then, but that's going to be awesome too. So.